3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone, to the Briones Pickleball Podcast. I want to introduce you to our brand new co-host, Caden.
Same old guy, baby.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Same old guy, the Caden that you love. And we have a lot to talk or that. We have some haters.
We do.
But we have a lot to talk about today. If this is your first time joining us, this Pickleball Podcast is for you to better your game, gain some good knowledge, and kind of update you with some of the pickleball things. And we answer questions from viewers just like you on every show. That's something that we're starting to do. Caden, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I got Dutch Bros. First time I've had Dutch Bros in a long, long time. Can't lie, little overrated, but you live and you learn.
Wow.
And I've had other drinks from there, and they were pretty good. This one was not bad. It's not bad. I just not my favorite.
Okay.
I think I'd rather get a matcha from
There you go.
coffee shop or something.
Okay. All right.
That's just me. Me.
Tomato.
I'm a simple creature,
Okay.
But yeah, I'm chilling. Just another day in the life.
Yep.
Happy to be here.
Okay.
And without further ado.
All right. Early February in Arizona. We can't complain about the weather.
No, it is actually a little chilly.
Chilly?
I mean, that's why I'm wearing a hoodie right now. Sponsored by Polo Ralph Lauren. Psych. But, under this shirt, I have a very good, nice Yola shirt on right here that says covered up because it's so cold.
All right.
But I also, I always have my Yola hat on.
All right. Since we're shouting out sponsors now, thank you, Yola. Thank you, Selkirk. Obviously, my sponsor. Thank you for all you do. Couldn't do this without you. And about that, what we were just talking about.
Sponsors?
Before that. Okay. Missed it.
Anyways,
everyone. Thank you. Welcome back. We're going to jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
We did talk about in the last podcast how Caden was drafted to the Australia MLP.
Yep.
And actually, the Australia PPA is happening right now.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff we can talk about. I mean, we could talk about it right now. I mean,
Yeah.
all the top players aren't there.
No.
But one big upset. I've been following it, a little bit. I'm just turning it on when I can. But yeah, Gabe Tardio. Took a match off of a Kwang Duong.
Yeah.
And that was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Any other notable things from PPA Australia?
Well, I think Gabe and Tyson are both going for a triple crown
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they're playing each other in the final in mixed and singles, and then they're playing together in men's. So pretty wild.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Caden and I just last week finished our 5-day intensive.
We did.
Good group. Awesome group.
This is not the group here, but
yeah, let's just what do we got here? Let's just pull it up here.
Oh, no.
Okay. We're gonna save that for later, folks. Good group here. Shout out to everyone that came out.
What am I doing with my hand?
I don't know. Let's just zoom in here.
Coming out. I want the world to know.
So yeah, we had
what?
players. If you don't know, Caden and I run these 5-day intensives where you can come and literally train with us, literally for 5 days, over 5 hours on court a day. We get to know you as an individual, get to know your strengths, get to know your weaknesses during the whole week, and really help and really redefine your game going forward. And
all right, I'll tell you what, $1 if you can go through the whole crowd and get everybody's name.
$1. We got, I'm not going to give last names here, but we got John, Art, Aaron, Justin. We got Jason, Dave, Lynn. Who do we got? Jeanette. We got Jen. We got Jenna and Danny.
All right, yeah.
That's it.
Yep, you got it.
We got the crew. Good crew.
You got it.
We spend the whole week with them, so we're really appreciative of that. Check the link in the description below if you would like to join a training. On this last training, Caden, favorite highlight. Let's just give a highlight. Your favorite kind of part of the intensive. There's so many things, so many days. They overlap sometimes because we're we're working so hard and working with each individual. But I don't know, anything notable that you want to share from the last group, Caden?
Well, let me tell you, we do take out the students for a nice dinner on the first night and the second to last night.
Yeah.
I will say, in that picture, who's 6-0 were you holding? Were you holding like a student's? That must have been somebody's, right?
I don't know. Okay. But anyway,
you just had to grab a paddle for the photo.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite parts about those dinners is like the first night you get to kind of really get a good feeling of like who these people are, if they're a little bit more introverted, extroverted, and it's also fun to kind of just get to know these people on and off about, pickleball.
Yeah.
You're not just kind of talking to them about pickleball 24/7. You're talking about their hometown, where they grew up, what they did for work. And it's just fun to kind of, for me personally, you always have kind of a group where, most people are like, oh, like I'm super excited to be here. And then you have some people where they're like,
it's more reserved.
Just a little bit more, to themselves, and not super, outgoing, and that's fine. And you get to kind of just see them kind of like come out of their shell throughout the week.
Yeah.
But a close one is definitely the Brazilian steakhouse dinner that we do on the second to last night.
Hey, don't give it all away, but
I know.
But that's one of our favorite nights. If leave a comment below. Comment Brazilian if you've been in a Brazilian steakhouse.
It's legit.
We like to treat our players, but we have a good time there on the second to the last night. And obviously, the last day we do a round robin tournament.
Yep.
Where you and I, Caden, are actually coaching them. Through their game. So it's a really fun time.
It is.
But sign up below if you would like to come train with yours truly and Caden truly. All right. What do we got next? Upcoming tourneys in AZ. Here in Arizona, everybody, we just talked about the weather is nice. We're comparing it to most places, but we have some PPAs coming into town.
Yeah, February is the month for pickleball in Arizona.
Yeah, February, January, March, but we have PPA Tucson.
Yeah,
and also PPA Mesa coming. So we got top pros coming right in our backyard. And I don't know. Do you want to
make a top 3 wish list right now? Who is coming into town that you would want on our pod? Go.
Okay, and this may or may not happen, folks. It's really tough. It's really tough. A lot of good people. I can't. It would honestly be,
top 3. You don't even have to go 1, 2, 3. Just go. Give me 3 names.
So okay, so let's go men's side. I just think it'd be good to have Ben Johns because he's such a big name in the sport. Obviously, okay. I would like to have Big H on.
Okay,
Big H calling you out. And, a lot of people that I would like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting stories and I've been following this person's game for a while. I'd like to have Kwong on, actually.
Kwong?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Federico, we got Andre, we got a lot of people. Tardio, we've had him on, there's a lot of people, but top 3.
Kwong.
What top 3 ladies would you want on, Caden? We're calling them out right now.
Well, I mean, you got to go Anna Lee, right? Because Anna Lee is Anna Lee. And also, like, we've known her pretty much her whole pickleball career, I feel like. Catherine would be really cool just because she's been a part of the sport for so long and is still kicking butt. And honestly, I think I'd go...
Give a wild card, Ken.
Well, you could go Anna Bright, but I mean that's a big personality. She might outshine us on the show here. She might take over.
Yeah, now you're just going down the top 3 players. No, we got to give.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't even thinking about that. A wild card. I would go.
Like I mentioned Kwong. Up and coming.
I would go.
Guys, if there's silence on the pod, this is just for suspenseful purposes. But anyways, Caden has no clue. We're going to see who we could get on the pod during the PPAs. Comment below who you would like to see. I can't guarantee it, but we are going to make our moves and try to get some of your favorite pros on the pod.
I'd go Georgia Johnson.
Oh, Georgia.
Yeah.
All right.
Georgia Johnson.
Well, there's that upcoming 5 days. Do you want to talk about actually right now, Caden, what we got going on with your schedule on those PPAs? Or
I am planning to play PPA Tucson and Mesa. Been a little bit of confusion, as I would like to say, in what is going to happen after Tucson. I'm pretty okay with Tucson, but Mesa, I'm a little confused at the moment. So we will see what happens in the next following days or weeks.
Okay.
Anything can happen. But that being said, I'm going to have to start looking for flights soon to Australia because flights are crazy expensive and I need to kind of get on board.
When is your first MLP Australia?
First week of April.
All right.
So I'm going to be out there.
My birthday week. Let's go.
I know. You want to come?
I can't. But anyways.
Take you to Australia for your birthday. Come on.
Yeah,
you and me, boys trip.
No, guys. When you have a family, can't do those things anymore.
Come on.
Anyways, let's jump right into the questions. These are questions from viewers just like you, from listeners just like you. And we try to answer these questions, as accurate as possible, knowing, obviously we're not seeing these players' games and they're asking specific questions, but, we really want to kind of dig deep and kind of answer them the best way possible, but also to help all the listeners out there. So again, if you would like to submit a question, also you can go to the description below, and we're going to just be answering these on every pod. So it's a good time. Good time, everyone. Here we go, kid. And you want to read that?
Oh, yeah. Jim Pagano from Jersey.
Okay. 4-5 player.
There's a lot of available instruction discussing the first 4 shots of pickleball points. In your opinion, which of the 4 shots is the most important or valuable? I personally believe that the return of serve is the least discussed and practiced, but possibly the most important, since a poor return allows the serving team to take back the initiative that the 2-bounce rule gives to the returning team. Thanks.
Ooh, so
Jim, smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Yeah. So let me get into this. First 4 shots, right? We got the serve, the return, we have the third, and then we have the fourth, obviously. And there's a lot of different things we could talk about. It is tough. And Caden, we might differ, but no matter how you slice it, super important shots. The return is something that I've really been not only working on, Caden, but I see the return as I coach more and more players, like as like a more and more valuable thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough because I would go return.
Like number 1?
Out of the first 4, it's tough. They're all important, but you know what? Right now, on today's pod, I'm gonna go return. And let's say, and why is that? Okay, so couple things. Your serve sets up everything, and you want to apply pressure right away. You can get easy points. That's what we want to do on the serve. But again, on the return, you're giving up points. Again, a lot of players that you're listening to this right now between 3-0 and 4-5, if you're above that, you're at a different level and we're dealing with different things. But 3-0 to 4-5, returns are critical, and that makes or break your game on the returning side. Those are just my initial thoughts, Caden.
Yeah.
It's so important for every shot, but what are your thoughts, man?
Well,
first 4.
I think, I would honestly put serve and return as like 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because basically each shot is your first shot of the point for you.
Yeah.
Right? If you're serving, you're serving,
yep.
Right? That's the first shot of your point. If you're receiving, that's the first ball that you have to hit in your point.
Yep.
And, from there, it's like a chess match. Everything else sets up something else. So if you're not, if you don't have full intention or purpose behind your serve or your return, I think it's going to make your life a lot harder to win points.
Yeah.
So as important as it is to, have a good drop, a good third shot drop or a good third shot drive, and, and be able to, have good pressure with a good fourth shot and keeping your opponents back, I think it's all set up by your initial serve or your initial return. So
Yeah, I agree. So everyone listening to this, make sure that you are practicing those shots, serving and returning first, and then obviously we got to get to all the other stuff. We teach. We have so many videos on our channel, Caden, teaching those things, but specifically on the serve and return. So check those out.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jim. All right, next question. Knock it out, Caden. What do we got?
Bang. From Dave, Tennessee.
Ooh, Tennessee, Tellico Village. Okay, 4-0 player. What do we got, Ken?
What essential pickleball skills do your students struggle with the most to master? Why?
Okay, what essential pickleball skills?
I tried to fix his error, and then it messed me up.
So basically, what like main pickleball skills do our students that we coach at our 5-day intensives and anytime we're working with players struggle with most to master, and why? This is going to be interesting. I'm going to give it some thought.
I got two things.
We're gonna swing it. I'm gonna I'll do a backhand slice thing to you right here.
Bam! Hit it to me. Go. So the two I would say is, first one is consistent footwork.
Oh man, come on! You're gonna take mine? Let's go.
Oh, sorry.
Go
all right, consistent footwork, and then the second one is probably like resets.
Okay.
And the reason why I say resets is because I think once you kind of get the hang of it, it makes a little bit more sense. But the most common thing I find with players coming in and trying to learn resets is we are just too used to swinging. You know, it's so easy to just swing the paddle and not even realize how much or how little we're swinging, or even sometimes where we're swinging. And when people are having a hard time resetting, it's usually all over the place, from too much swing going forward, too much swing going up, paddle angle, paddle path. I see people trying to reset and like swinging down. I'm like, what the heck are we doing here? There's just so many things that people see or think they see and then try and adapt, and that's just not right. So,
I totally agree, Caden.
Yeah.
You said it resets secondly.
Yes.
Obviously, we know why they're super important. So why footwork, and what do you see players struggle with the most, and why is it really important?
Yeah, well, I think footwork, not when I say consistent footwork, I don't mean just moving when you have to hit the ball, but even just like moving and shading and covering court with your partner is so important. And sometimes you see a lot of players kind of just standing in their square, in the middle of their square, and think, hey, I'm good here. But consistent footwork is that court coverage, that shading, but also having better footwork. So when you are hitting the ball, everything is staying a little bit more quiet. Swings start to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
The better footwork is, it makes everything else easier in pickleball.
Guys, gals, come to a 5-day intensive.
Come on.
We would love to work with you.
Come on.
And here's a crazy thing, and this is one of the things, Caden, that I think we hear the most. And let me get your feedback on this. We've worked with hundreds of players now in the past couple of years, but one of the things that I typically hear from the group after we've finished the week, after we've had a blast and so much, it's like, wow, I really didn't know how much I was like, basically how much I needed to work on.
Yeah.
And sometimes the things that they think they have down,
for sure,
are the things like they don't have down.
No, 100%. 100%. I think, and it's funny too, because like our first day is all, like, in my opinion, it's all pretty basic. You know what I mean?
Well, fundamentals. Yeah. I mean, we got to look at them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But for a lot of pickleball players, they think like, oh, because I've watched a YouTube video on footwork, I have good footwork. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times, I would say 11 out of 12 of our students in our last 5-day intensive did not have proper footwork.
Yeah.
Or court coverage or shading.
Yeah.
So...
And everyone's can improve. I mean, Caden and I are still working on today. So that's, I want to get through this question. So Caden, really good stuff. Footwork, number one, we see the most struggle with in resets. Mm-hmm. Those were probably going to be my top two, but I'm going to add two, or I'm going to add at least one. right now. So, footwork, we talked about really important resets. I'm going to add the concept and just technique of topspin. Okay, I'm going to add that. Obviously, in this game, as it gets more and more aggressive, and as you raise your level, topspin just becomes more and more and more and more important, whether we're talking about fourth shots, whether we're talking about dinks, whether we're talking about drops. A lot of players come to us, and obviously, strategy we focus on, shot selection, footwork, but technique is a huge thing that we work on, and just the concept of topspin, getting the right mechanics is tough, especially for players who don't have racket sport background. But we see tremendous progress in our intensives, and anything to say about topspin, Caden, because we dive deep in that.
Well, I would say topspin, there are just so many different ways that people think topspin is created, and once you kind of realize how topspin is created, it's hard to break the other version that you kind of had going on in your mind and in your body. So, when we worked on topspin with, all the players that we did last week in our intensive, I guarantee you, I'm pretty positive when we brought up topspin, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, like I use topspin here. I have a good idea of what topspin is," and I'm pretty positive. Also, 11 out of 12 of them, they were all pretty off. So it's common, it's normal. Like, don't feel bad about it, But there is right and there is wrong.
And there's always more efficient ways to do things, and every player has their own version and way, and our job as coaches is to really just find the most efficient way for them, and that's it. And just really quick, speaking of topspin, speaking of attacking, we have a free resource for you. Just check out attackmasterclass.com.
Free.
And it is free,
totally free.
And we put together some good stuff just so that you can
I can't even get a gumball for free these days.
Hey, you know what? Some things are free, some things are not. But check it out if you would like to learn to attack better. And now we are going to jump right in to the next question. So here we go. Bob Nichols from Washington, 3-5. Knock it out, Caden. What do we got?
Knowing where to put the ball is one thing, but how does one actually make the ball go where you want it to go? Having trouble with this, a lack of consistency.
Wow, good one there. I've mentioned this on a podcast way back.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we both have, probably.
And so the question is, and you know what? It's a simple question, but for a lot of players, it actually makes sense. Like, how do I actually make the ball go where I want to go? Right? And, little saying, little rhyme. I didn't make this up. I made up the pickleball version, but this kind of came from another sport. But, the paddle face, paddle angle, sends it, and the swing path bends it.
Wow.
Right? Right? So what that being said,
we're gonna make a song out of that.
got a little pickleball paddle here. Oh, serve. There we go. But where the paddle face or paddle angle, anytime it hits the ball, that it's going there. Yep. Right? You cannot hit a ball to your left if your paddle is facing right.
Yep.
Now the swing path, we just talked about that, Caden, whether we're imparting slice or we're going top on it, that's going to add spin. So, we talked about footwork and all these different things, but we have to work on controlling our swing and controlling our paddle. And I think keeping our eye on the ball, and also, just learning, like, just the simplicity of, where your paddle is pointed, that's where that ball is going to go. And if you have so many moving parts, this is why things like footwork is so important.
Yep.
You have so much moving parts, you're getting there late, or your feet are moving, or your feet are not in the right position. Of course, your paddle is going to be kind of facing different directions.
100%,
so I don't know,
100%.
anything from that. I mean,
no,
anything, Caden.
And the biggest thing is, like, if you're dealing with, consistency in sending the ball where you want it to go, most of the time it starts with, your footwork, your contact point, all that good stuff first, and then when it comes down to it, where you send your paddle face and where you're sending your paddle when you're swinging is going to determine where that ball ends up going, you know? And so I think with volleys especially, we talk about volleys so much in our intensive because, you know, you see so many people swing all these different places, and it's like you just swing straight. You know, if you swing straight, you'll find a lot better results. And for a lot of players, that's just a little unnatural. So, you know, breaking those bad habits and, you know, trying to work on those things and get them consistent is huge.
All right. We'll do a couple more questions here. Thank you for sending these in. And again, I hope this is really helping all of you kind of think through these questions. And I know a lot of these questions you could be thinking about and just informing you, giving more, you things to think about. But again, check the description below if you want to send some questions in.
Oh, yeah.
Next one, Caden.
Let's go.
From Darren. Russell, Buffalo, New York.
Oh, shoot.
4-0 player. All right.
You wrote us an essay. All right. I've had some disagreements with people I play with on the court on court coverage. My understanding is that if the ball is straight ahead of you, that the player covers the line, and that means the other player covers middle, since the ball would be diagonal from that player. Is that correct?
Okay. Well, that's number one. Is that correct? Go ahead. Number two.
Where should each player specifically stand, and what is their paddle position? I think players I play with who are covering the line are still too close to the middle, and it creates confusion on the middle ball because they will sometimes stick their paddle out to take the middle ball when it's coming directly to me at a diagonal. Yeah, okay. Coming to me diagonally is what he means. Then the next middle ball they let go, and since they took the last one and I don't go for it, and neither of us play it at the same time, I see them get beat with a drive down their line, and I believe it's because they aren't taking enough line. 3, when covering the line as the receiving team, should they be almost with their outside foot on the sideline and anything outside of their outside shoulder is out and they can just sit backhand? 4, is that the same during a dink rally for speed up coverage?
Okay. There's a lot here. There's a lot here. And I think we just answer kind of the basics of kind of court coverage. I don't know if we're going to get through all the questions here, but you know what? Darren, great questions, man. And you know what? This is a global epidemic.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So number one, if you are having some disagreements with your partner, what to cover what, that is a common thing, so don't worry about that. But yeah, shading. Let's talk about that. Caden, you talked about it, and one of the things that we really harp on and get on people in a constructive way and in a teachable way is really, if everyone talks about the middle ball, and the confusion on whose ball is what.
Yeah.
And I like to say, one of the things that I like to say is, like, if you and your partner are in the right position, so like depending on where the ball is, you're shaded over and you're in the right position, pretty much I would say 80% or more of the middle ball confusion goes away.
Yeah.
Because now, the roles and responsibilities are set. So it's hard to show you because, I think we're going to, we have videos on this, but just general speaking, you are correct, Darren. Let's say Caden and I are playing and we're playing, let's see, who wants the right side? I'll go right.
You'll
side,
play right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So Caden's on the left. Now I get pulled really, really wide on my right side. So to my forehand, Caden's going to be what? He's going to be sliding over middle heavy, with his right foot close to that center line. And in that scenario, he's got to cover middle in that point, whether the ball's on our court or their court. If the ball's really close to the sideline, we have to cover the big areas first. I mean, very general, obviously, and I think that at higher level play, the recognition gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because, some balls are wider than others, and you guys really need something you could, take home. There some dinks are wider than others. So some balls you might have to be closer to the sideline, and then that cross-court player has to really be aggressive in the middle. And some balls are just hit cross-court.
Yeah.
But you might not have to slide over as much. But that comes in time and in practice. Caden, just any quick thing that you want to add?
Yeah, I would just add, that's perfectly said. I think in his third question, where should you be if you are covering the sideline? I don't think your foot needs to be on the sideline. I think your foot can be inside the sideline. And the biggest thing is making sure that if you are reaching out with your paddle, your paddle can cover that sideline. But also, when you're dinking, it's also very important to still shade because anybody can speed up these days from dinks, right?
Yes.
So, yes, this coverage definitely applies even when you're dinking on the court. It's very easy for a lot of players to, maybe misunderstand how shading works or not know about shading at all. So, when you find that you're shading and you have a partner that isn't, it's going to be a little frustrating, but all you can do is kind of explain to them what's going on and why, and I think that'll fix a lot of issues.
Yeah. All right. Well, last question, Caden. A really good, man. Let's hop right in, and thank you so much, Darren. Last question of the day. Again, we're going to be answering questions.
BJ.
Yeah, we're going to be answering these questions on the pod every week, but from Ohio, BJ 3-5. Let's go, Caden. What do we got?
What are the top 3 trends in 2025, and what are the things I can improve as a 3-5 player for those trends?
Okay, can I go first on this one?
You can go first.
All right.
Go ahead.
How this question is phrased is really interesting, I think. So this is a couple thoughts I have. And first of all, BJ from Ohio, thank you so much, man. Thank you for listening to our pod and, being really engaged. When I hear the word trends, and this is a common thing, Caden. Do you remember like spin surfs, right?
Yeah.
Boom, came out. Then we have, just different things that are changing the game.
Yep.
But are not fundamentals of the game, and a lot of people focus on that kind of stuff. So what did we see? So just to give some context, right? It's funny because when the spin serve was a really big thing, what were 3-0s and 3-5s doing out there? They were practicing their spin serves.
Yep.
And granted, there's nothing wrong with that. But, so BJ, here's my advice to you. For you being a 3-5 at this point, what can you do as a 3-5 player? It's a very simple thing. I would say focus on the fundamentals. There's a lot of trends. There's a lot of things that we can practice. For example, the two-handed backhand, something that is very, very necessary at high levels. Yep. Two-handed backhand things, those kind of things. But as a 3-5 player, we talked about the first 2 shots. We talked about how important they are. The resets, your footwork. I can give you several things, but just those alone, what I mentioned, if you focus on those things first, really, Caden, and here is the sentence. Here is what it is. But if you focus on fundamentals and you're a 3-5 right now, you will get to 4-0.
Very quickly.
You will get to 4-0.
Yeah.
Amen. And that's it.
Amen.
That's all I got. Thank you. But what do you got, Caden?
That was so beautifully said. I almost started crying. And secondly, I don't even have anything else to say because that was so beautiful.
All right. Well,
wow.
I don't know about that.
That was good.
But I just do want to mention if you're a 3-5 player, even a 4-0 player, probably in the 4-2-5 and 4-5 player, you might be struggling with bangers. And if you are, we have a free resource for you.
Oh my gosh.
Check out a video that we made that really is going to dive deep on how you can actually beat them. Just go to crushbangers.com.
More free stuff. Why do they have mods, huh? What the heck's that about?
So I don't know if you guys, if you're listening to the show, we got 2 really manly men with mods in their hands. And if you had a picture, if you closed your eyes and had a picture of bangers, this might would it be? This might. It might look like this.
I think you should have gotten a picture of me.
Probably not. But go to crushbangers.com if you're struggling with bangers. Check it out.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. All right. Lastly, I know this is a shorter pod, everybody. I do want to thank everyone. That was our live Q&A there. And we have a treat. We haven't done this in a while, folks.
It's been a little bit.
We do have a podcast story with Caden. So Caden, he's been in and out tournaments, in, out, boom, out of Arizona, in Arizona. Yep. He's back. Caden, you gotta have a story for us, dude.
I do.
Let's go. What do we got?
So, as you guys know, I'm very lucky to live with 2 pickleball players. One of them named Augie, and the other one named Pessa.
That's not the Augie. Right?
No, it is.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I sleep in the same. In the same apartment
City
unit
area code.
Yeah, as him. But we also live with this amazing pickleball player, and even better dude, Pessa Teoni. He's also been on the pod. And, we do live by this little mall in Tempe, Arizona out here. And we like to go down there and walk down there and see some of the stores and maybe get some food. And we, I was taking Pessa to go get his eyes checked because he said,
what's wrong with his eyes?
He just said that there was some, he's when he would play every now and then, like it would be a little blurry. So we wanted to go get his eyes checked. So I took him to his eye appointment.
Dr. Caden, huh?
Oh yeah. And so, I took him to this eye appointment. And after that, as we were walking there, I saw this store that said, they had these Stanley Cups, and it was like, 2 for $20. And I was like, damn, Stanley Cups for $20. All right. So I went in. I was like, Pessa, before we go back home, like, I'm going to check out this store. And we walk in, and like, I'm just like, wow, this is a very interesting store. I'm like, there's like all these different shirts, and it says things like, I heart DILFs, I heart MILFs, like all these different types of things, right? And Pessa walks to the back and is like, yo, Caden, look. And I took a picture of what he was holding here.
Okay. And what does he say? Just look?
He just like was holding it, and he was like, dude, it's so soft. And I was like, yeah. I was like, hey, hold on. Let me see it. Let me see a picture.
Okay, he's just loving the little guy.
Yeah. A purchase was not made that day in that store, but I did come to realize that store had some pretty interesting toys in there that I personally don't need, but a lot of good options, and I'm sure a visit will be made there again one day. Who knows?
Okay.
Maybe not for the pillow, but
yeah, if you're not watching this podcast, you're just gonna have to go to the Briones Pickleball podcast channel and see a picture of Pessa.
I also have a picture of him kissing it, but I'm not gonna show that one. That one's just for my eyes only.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, interesting podcast story with Caden there. For those of you who like to hear these things, drop a comment below if you've been in a situation like this. Okay.
Yeah, you should.
But Caden, coming up, I know we got PPAs. The next pod should be next week.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you close it out? Let people know what to look for, what's going on, and then dude.
Yeah, PPA Tucson coming up next week. Playing mixed and men's, and same thing with Mesa a little bit later in the month. Later in the month, my dad is going to come out.
Ooh.
Come and hang out.
Mr. Niemoff, huh?
That's right. So it should be a good month of February. Do we know? Is this one, how long is this February this year? I'm sure this February has 30. Year. Oh, wait. Just kidding. Dude, this February is the short one. This one only has 28. It's a leap year. Oh, so there are some people who were born on February 29th or 30th, I believe, that are getting skipped out on their birthdays. That sucks. It's kind of crazy. I knew a guy like that in high school. I was like, damn, so you're technically only like 8.
Technically. There you go.
But yeah, happy February to you guys. Thanks for joining us today.
It's Valentine's month.
It's Valentine's month.
Hey,
do you have a Valentine?
Yeah, I do have a Valentine. Shout out to my wife.
Have you asked her?
I ask her every day.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's not official until you ask her to be your Valentine.
Gosh, Caden's putting me on the spot here. I will have to ask her. You know what? If you're brave enough, put your Valentine in the comments there. You know, put a little initials there on there.
Oh shit!
All right, but thank you so much for listening to the pod. If you've made it this far, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna let you in on a little something. One. You're a real one, and we have some exciting news in the next couple months with Briones Pickleball, and we're not gonna. Just stay tuned on the pod because we have some really exciting stuff coming to you.
Oh my gosh. Am I allowed to know?
Maybe. That's it, everyone, folks. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
We love you. See you later.
All right. See ya.